Before Black Adam was released, The Rock wanted to convince us that this movie was going to save the DCEU. It would have been really poetic if a character relatively unknown to the public whose big screen appearance was stuck in production hell for almost 15 years actually did come through. But instead of becoming the hero of a flopping movie franchise, it got dunked on pretty hard and sent to the shadow realm by DC Films' new CEOs. Hey, I'm James. This is Mixed Up Media, and we're going to be talking about the disappointing history of the Black Adam movie. But before we get into that, it would be so sick if you could hit the like button and subscribe as well. Did you know that it is completely free? Yeah, apparently it also helps with Al Gore's rhythm, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's get into it. Everything starts in April of 2006, 2 months before Superman returned and the year after Batman began.
I'm Batman.
This is when New Line Cinema announced that they were planning to bring the hero Captain Marvel back to the big screen in a new film for the first time since 1941.
Shazam!
That same year, The Rock was approached to play the role of Captain Marvel, but by November of 2007, he had become interested in another character as well. In July of that year, Johnson was at San Diego Comic-Con to promote Get Smart. Banger, by the way.
Oh. Why don't you unjam that?
While there, he was told by fans that he should look into a character named Black Adam as well, and he just went with it. The response to this fan casting was so positive that the buzz made it all the way back to the New Line execs. I was still a kid, but I remember this fan casting being about as popular as the one for Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool that would come just a few years later. That November, The Rock confirmed that he would be swapping to the role of Black Adam instead. Wanting to capitalize on the excitement of the fans, a decision was made to rewrite the script to give Black Adam a bigger role in the movie. According to the screenwriter John August, early drafts of the script had Black Adam playing a Voldemort-type role. He would be this dark force that Billy would face off against only at the end of the movie. I don't know how accurate that is because, believe it or not, I've never seen a full Harry Potter movie. I know it sounds crazy, but by the time this comes out, hopefully I would have started them. Before this change was made, the movie was actually close to starting production. However, in a hilarious turn of events, the Writers Guild of America went on strike just a few days after The Rock made his announcement. For the next 100 days, August, who was responsible for the rewrites, would not touch the script or be in contact with anyone involved with the movie. Also during the strike, New Line Cinema, which had already been owned by Warner Brothers, was shut down as an independently operating entity. When the strike was over, August only had the notes that he had received from his former employer, but luckily, the new executive at Warner said that he agreed with their direction of the film. Months later, August turned in a new version of the script, but Warner believed that it played too young.
What?
This was supposed to be an action comedy about a kid that turns into a superhero by yelling out a magic word. But somehow they thought it played too young.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
According to August, Warner Brothers wanted Billy to be older and the movie itself to be darker and edgier. Why? This reaction could have potentially been caused by the contrasting reception of two of their movies that released that summer. Speed Racer, the family film based on the 1960s manga and anime series, lost $30 million in the box office, while The Dark Knight made $1 billion. Speed Racer is peak cinema, by the way, and you can honestly fight me if you disagree. Aesthetically and tonally, these movies are basically opposites, so you could understand why WB would feel safer with a much darker superhero film at the time, even though Iron Man was hilarious, kicked ass, and came out that May.
Kill power.
August gave the studio what he thought they wanted in his final draft of the script. It was no longer the lighthearted movie that he signed up for, but instead a darker one that was more Captain Marvel vs. Black Adam, with even more of the anti-hero, as opposed to a movie about the young hero Billy Batson. The director and producers approved of the revisions, but by January of 2009, WB decided to put the movie on hold.
Perfect!
Shazam and the potential of seeing Black Adam on the big screen were basically dead. Man of Steel released in 2013, and it was a box office hit. It was meant to serve as a launching pad for the DC Extended Universe that for some reason wouldn't release another movie for 3 years. Dwayne Johnson let the world know via Twitter on that New Year's Eve that he and DC had met, and he would be involved with their new plan in some capacity. In 2014, the original DCEU slate was announced. Shazam was alive once more with a 2019 release date. That August, The Rock revealed that he again did not know if he would be playing the role of the title character, who had since been rebranded from Captain Marvel to Shazam due to copyright issues, or the villain Black Adam. A month later, he announced that he officially signed on to play the antagonist of the film, but this time he made it clear that his Black Adam would be an anti-hero and not the outright villain like was originally planned years earlier. He had an action hero image to maintain now. Now we have to move up to 2017. At this point, Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad had been released. One was okay, one was terrible, but neither of them got the reaction that DC wanted. While the DCEU was getting off to a rocky start, The Rock had reached superstar status. He became the highest paid actor in the world and was known for bringing dead franchises back to life. An actor of his profile tends to have a bit more sway in negotiations. For example, according to reports from a few years back, he has a no-lose, no-death clause in his contracts that don't allow for characters he plays to be beat up worse than any character that he's fighting. I think the last movie a character of his dies in is The Other Guys, and that was from 2008. I bring this up because in January of 2017, he revealed via Instagram that he had once again met with DC to discuss the future of their upcoming movie. The original plan was for Shazam to include origin stories for both Billy Batson and Teth Adam, but The Rock and his team felt like this would be doing a disservice to both characters. Even though he went on to say that Shazam would be fine with two origins in his movie, but not Black Adam, because reasons. Apparently, he even refused cameos in several other movies. The comic that the Shazam movie was based on ended with Black Adam getting jumped by the Shazam family. This is just speculation on my part, but I'm sure that was a huge no-go if it made it into the original script. Anyway, apparently everyone liked the script that they had, but The Rock was like, nah, I'm Black Adam, baby, let's make a movie about me. And DC was like, you know what? You are super famous and we like money too, let's do it. Everyone knows more movies usually means more money. But this is DC. Only 6 days after he posted about this meeting, The Rock announced that the upcoming movie would be split into two, Shazam and Black Adam. While they would not be physically appearing in each other's movies, the idea was to build worlds around these two characters and have them eventually face off in the future, even though it seemed like The Rock was only interested in going toe-to-toe with one character in particular, Superman. His comparisons with the Man of Steel and talks about fighting him in the future became a driving force for the hype behind the movie. A lot of fans were still left confused about why this was a priority over him being on screen with his rival. By 2018, after little news for a while, The Rock reassured fans during press for his movie Rampage that Black Adam was still happening and it wasn't just another movie going nowhere after being announced like Shazam had been in the past. He said that with the way things were progressing, it felt like a 2019 movie, but he got busy filming other things and becoming rich as hell, so it got delayed. 2019 came and he said that filming would begin in July of 2020. He even went so far as to drop the first poster and give us a release date of December 22nd, 2021. We were all pretty foolish to think that that was going to be our year. Just like with basically everything else, filming was delayed because of the pandemic. In an update in April of 2020, he once again felt comfortable saying the movie would begin filming at the end of the summer around September, but as you can guess, it was delayed again. During the height of the pandemic, events like Comic-Con were shut down due to safety concerns, so companies went digital to show off new offerings. DC Fandom 2020 was surprisingly impressive, but The Rock's excitement for Black Adam and the animated teaser he brought along with him stole the show. It was here that we learned that the Justice Society would be in the movie, and while most people said, "Oh!" people like me saw the Dr. Fate reveal and went, The Rock ended the event with a speech that promised Black Adam was going to shake up the DCEU.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
For the first time in 14 years, him becoming his dream character felt more like a certainty than a possibility. There was actually good energy behind this movie. After so long, filming finally began in April of 2021, and we were given a new release date of July 2022. Filming wrapped by the August of 2021, but the movie was delayed again one final time because of how backed up the workload of VFX artists had become due to the pandemic. Let's talk about marketing. I would say DC Fandom 2021 is what really kicked off the start of the marketing push. We got to meet the cast. The icing on the cake, however, was the footage that we got in the first look. The Rock incinerated a guy like this was Mortal Kombat or something. He had bullets bouncing off his chest before grabbing one out the air. It was badass. If his aim was to impress the fans, then he at least got me. This event caused me to go from being cautiously optimistic to genuinely looking forward to the movie.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
The months leading up to its release were interesting, to say the least. The Rock had fully embraced his character, and his sights were set on the future. During the press tour, he would say things like,
It required me to push and fight for this project for almost 15 years, Gail. It's the most important movie of my career. I was born to play Black Adam.
which in retrospect, yikes. At least it was clear that over the years, this had become a dream project for him, and he obviously wanted the movie to do well. You would also hear The Rock say something along the lines of, "The fans are my #1 boss." It sounds cheesy to hear, but he seriously listened to what the fans wanted in regard to the movie.
We listen, man. We listen to the fans. And we may not be able to do
But
it.
let's lock in on one thing in particular. His plan was always for Black Adam to face off against Superman, but after a lot of uncertainty around Henry Cavill's status in the DCEU, a lot of people were not happy with the possibility of the role being recast. The Rock not revealing who Superman would be caused the crowd to start booing at Comic-Con. His manager and he actually fought for Henry Cavill to come back. Cavill's post-credit scene was filmed about a month before the movie was released. Check out this wholesome message that he left for fans about his return.
Thank you for your support and thank you for your patience. I promise it will be rewarded.
Yeah, I bet you feel real bad for him now, huh? The Rock was so excited to get him back that he even spoiled the movie only a few days after it released.
And then at the end, welcome home.
It was things like this that got people to believe that it wasn't all talk when The Rock said that Black Adam was going to be the start of a new direction for the DCEU. There were reports coming from credible leakers that said the movie was going to be a bit of a soft reboot, and that Dwayne himself was going to be taking a bigger creative role in the future planning of the universe. Weird, yes. But for once, discourse about the DCEU online was largely positive. However, no one talked about the Black Adam movie online as much as The Rock did. Black Adam came out to really mixed reviews. The critics thought it was
The biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever.
and the fans thought it was fun. I think it's both. But the critic score, along with an underwhelming box office performance, had the man behind the Man in Black going into full damage control mode. You would see him constantly discuss how important fan score was for the movie and how it had had the highest one in a DC film since The Dark Knight. Anything mentioning fan excitement for the movie got a retweet from him. As the box office numbers started to surface, we got comparisons that were meant to make the movie look like it was performing better than it was. The Rock compared its numbers to Captain America without mentioning the fact that the first Avenger had a cheaper budget and still made more money when you adjust for inflation. It was clear that The Rock was just coping, but can you blame him? I think it's safe to assume that DC and Marvel execs want their movies to get as close to $1 billion as possible. I'm sure it was a surprise to see that not happen with one of the most famous people in the world in the starring role. Again, yikes. Black Adam was approved with a budget of $190 million, but with reshoots that somehow skyrocketed all the way up to $260 million, with at least an extra $80 million spent on marketing. I mean, they bought out Times Square to announce the release date, and I cannot imagine that being cheap. Throughout its theatrical run, Black Adam reportedly grossed $391.5 million. There were debates on whether or not the film was going to be profitable, and that led to The Rock sharing a misleading article from Deadline that explained how the movie was going to make money. In the end, it did, but it was still a disappointing run. It got nowhere near to any box office shattering number they were shooting for. I think there are a lot of things that played a part in killing this movie. One, it was kind of bad. There was also poor word of mouth, the fact that it came out only 4 weeks before Black Panther 2, which was sure to destroy all of its competition, and the fact that the pandemic changed the way a lot of us choose to watch our movies. Movies owned by Warner started getting sent to HBO Max and theaters at the same time during the pandemic. Eventually, these release dates were spread out to a time frame of about 2 months. I love the movie theater experience, but if there's a movie coming out that isn't receiving reviews that great, and I haven't already decided that I wanted to see it on a big screen with amazing audio, I'll just wait. Why would I pay $13 for a ticket and then take out a small loan to get snacks when I can just be patient and then watch the movie on my phone, like on the toilet or whatever? Black Adam is a movie that came with a laundry list of promises and possibilities. According to The Rock and his team, they had plans for a long-term relationship with DC. This would consist of multiple Black Adam films, spin-offs for certain JSA characters, a rivalry between Adam and Superman, a Shazam crossover eventually, and I'm sure much more. On November 1st, that hierarchy that we had been warned was going to change finally did. Peter Safran and James Gunn took over as co-chairmen and CEOs of DC Films. A month later, Henry Cavill posted a statement on Instagram explaining that even though he was told to announce his return as Superman in the DCEU and tease future plans, he would no longer be returning as the Man of Steel. James Gunn later revealed that he was writing a script for a new Superman movie that focused on a younger version of Clark and his early days in Metropolis. This was only the first casualty. Immediately, people started assuming that a reboot of the entire universe was on the horizon, and it was only a matter of time before Black Adam was gone too. On December 20th, the man himself confirmed that after meeting with Gunn about his future in the new DC universe, that Black Adam would not be in their early plans for the franchise, and that we might catch him in the multiverse later. Maybe. Shortly after this news came out, The Rock actually unfollowed the Black Adam movie page on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie, I would have done the same thing if I had waited 15 years just for a reboot to happen so soon after my movie came out. Speaking of reboots, what are you expecting from the new DCU? For me, I'd probably say good movies primarily, but also a storyline that isn't so rushed. If you're interested, you can follow me on Twitter and TikTok for more content. I also have a Patreon on the way as well. Thanks for watching. Peace.